Wem PA40. This is a 40 watt solid state 2-channel PA, which could be supposed to be used as a guitar amp. Now this is come in for a bit of a look over and see if it's worth doing anything with. It lights up, but no one's at home. So we're going to have a quick look at this amp and just see if we can get it running. It's very basic. It's got a couple of treble boost switches on there, and then it's just got a bass and a treble, volume, bass and treble. Pretty simple thing. We've got a socket there which we're not sure what that does because it's not labelled. Let's turn it round. I've already took some screws out the back, or just loosen them off. I checked the fuses, they all seem to be intact. Can't really see too much, can you? This back doesn't actually come off. And let's just lift it up. It doesn't come out from the bottom, so it must all come out from the front. It's very grabby because it's obviously been somewhere for some considerable time where it's been dusty in a shed or something, and it's got that smell to it. So I'm going to have to take this front panel off. You can see if I just ease the camera up there, you can see the strap chrome on these things here as rusty. Again, that's a sign it's been somewhere where it's a little damp. Never been inside one of these before, never worked on one, so we're going to whip these screws out and see what is inside. Now I think this is from the early 70s, so we're going to have a nosy inside and just see if we can date some of the components. Maybe might get lucky and get a date for it. There we go. Pretty simple thing. Got a lot of electrolytics there. That one's not very clever there, you can see. Let's have a look at the back. So I think we've got to take the sockets are on the side. Just turn it round and have a look at the side. I might just have to zoom out. There we go, we've zoomed out a bit. So you can see the sockets there on the side, and you can also see it had a bulging plug at one time. Someone's obviously then just wired it back up, and you can see what they've actually done there. And yeah, we won't mention that, will we? And I think if we look inside here, actually there is a bit of a grip cord on there, so it has got some protection, but that's not, I mean, that's just ludicrous. But people did that in those days. The dreaded electrical tape, or should we say the curse of the dreaded electrical tape. Just looking, so this preamp stage, looking here, probably better with the other camera really, but if we look, get something to probe with, just grab something quick. That file will do anything, just not switched on or anything. So these wires here go down to a plug there, which we might be able to see. So we're not getting a lot of light in there. Might just be able to see that. And then there's another plug on this side which you can just about see for these wires. So you can actually unplug this. We need to take that side panel out because you can see that they're obstructing the. Well, I think we do. We have got to take that out anyway, because we've got to try and do something with that. May have one of those bulging sockets somewhere. They're not exactly the best things to be fitting anymore, but oh, that came out rather easy. I wonder if that was the problem, you know, where that wasn't plugged in properly. I wonder whether that wasn't plugged in properly. Let's get it out, or get it out of its case and get it on the bench. So I think we'll have those. Let's just pop that back in there, and let's have a look at this side. Let's just remove these screws here. My word. That's those out. We better put those somewhere safe-ish. It's right in there. Will that now come out? Oh, I don't know. So it looks like, what's stopping that coming out? Well, this may come out though. It does come out, so we don't need to remove that. We only need to remove that because we want to get it all on the bench and get it running out the case. Right, that's the front removed. We'll pop him down there for the moment. Now we need to find out why this won't come out after we've taken the bolts out. It's very strange. Oh, it's just been in there that long. It's just stuck. There we go. Now a large mains lead on it, although not as long as the Selma that we did last year, which has got about 50 feet on it. That's it. That one goes in there. I've got a feeling that that one's not going in properly for some reason. That could even be our problem. So if we look at this, you can see we've got 12 ohms and 16 ohms. You can just about make that out. So let's plug a speaker in and see if we can get this working. We'll go for 12 ohms as this speaker is 8. It's not brilliant, but for testing purposes it will be fine. Now then, let's switch the power on. Absolutely dead as a doornail. More life in a junior Disprin. Well, I suppose we take some voltage measurements and so this fault's already looking like it's on this power amp stage, because there's absolutely nothing. I'm just looking at these now. It is something to do with this plug, you know. I think I had a feeling it was. If that plug doesn't fit on there correctly. That is the right way round though, because I can see the pins in there. That's the first glimmer of sound that's come out of this amplifier. Just going to get a meter and just test some voltages on those pins before I start, so I know what I'm touching and what I'm not touching. Let's have a look. So we've got 3 wires coming out of there. Has that got voltage on it? No. Oops, hang on a minute. Yes, it has. It's got 59 volts, so we don't want to be touching that one, do we? That one's got 5 on it, and that one's got none on it. Well, 59 volts won't hurt a deal, it'll just nip me, but we'd rather not be touching anything with voltage on it if it's above 25 volts. That doesn't seem to fit at all on there. It's very straight, because those let's just zoom in. So what we're looking at here is this socket, and these tabs that we've got here. The idea is you can see that they go over that ridge there, and that holds it in. But if I actually plug this in here, this won't go down low enough for that. Must have been mounted onto this board somehow that they won't reach down properly. Well, that's a bit rubbishy. We did have a glimmer out of it. So we just zoom back out again now a little bit. We'll come back. That's it. So what we need to do now is have a bit of a probe round and see if there's anything that's obviously dry jointed. What's that socket there on the back? Oh, that's the transistor, of course. There's two of those, yeah. So the output transistors, one is there and one is at the other side there. That's going over to that. So the inputs are here. Nothing there. Dead as a doornail, there's nothing. So let's have a look at that. Now I was just looking I'm looking at this socket here to see if it was a switch, if it was switching, but it's not. It's only wired up on one side. Somebody's been in here as regards these inputs, I think, because these have got different resistors onto that one, and there's some soldering there that's it's okay. So strange. So normally if I unplug this, let's just check where that 59 volts is. So that's on the M pin. So let's just get that it's nearest to hat. Not go down there, will it? Let's try this screwdriver here. Just pop that down there. It's dead. There's nothing. So let's focus on this board then. Oh dear, look at the state of that. My word. Let's try that in the end socket. Ah. So where's that going? That's going to the fuse there. Right, we're just looking at this board and you can see that Mr. Bodger's been in here at some time, Billy Bodger. So I've checked for other things. The speaker cables to the sockets were back to front, but that's made no difference turning those round. I seem to be getting voltages. I've just spotted a electrolytic that's all cracked, one of the bigger ones. I don't think we'll be able to get in there with this camera, but we're looking at this board and we've got it unplugged. So we're just gonna, so if we look first of all here, you can see that solder that's very close to that. I don't think it's touching, very close, all dry jointed, it's all grubby. There's something there that's been added across there. I don't even know whether that's should be there. You see, you don't know who's been in here. There's a capacitor there. I've tested most of the resistors on that board and none of them appear to be open. We just had that one glimmer from it when we from that plug, or when we tried to put that plug back in before. So that board is in a bit of a state. Someone's obviously been in here and changed these transistors at some time, or it looks like they have. Put it this way, if that's factory, that's pretty shocking. And this thing where they're folding them down and soldering them onto the tracers, unless the tracers are broke, to me there's no need for that. Just snip them off and make it look neat. So that looks a bit of a mess, doesn't it? and you can see clearly here that this one has definitely been worked on at some time. So I think we need to have a bit of a look at that. Dearie me. Not to mention all the flux that's around it as well. So there we go, that's just alcohol base that we're spraying on there. It's nothing, it's nothing that will cause any harm, and it will evaporate off. So I'm just looking at that now through the camera, see if I can see any obvious dry joints. It's just bad solder really, and just got all this you see here, this just this flux that they've not cleaned off. This was the problem with these solid state amplifiers. As soon as Billy Bodge has been in them, I'm afraid you're into a world of pain. If there's a schematic for this amp. Dearie me. Dearie me. So that's a transistor as well that someone's added in there. Let's just see if they are touching. No, they're not touching. Got a reading there. So that don't appear to be blown, that transistor. Comes out a quick test there. There's only a quick test. So yes, and this thing's been stood such a long time as well. There's a lot of and if we just go into, see if we can get into there, and you can see that capacitor there, just that's really poor. So that capacitor's had it, it's probably still functioning, but that doesn't look very good, does it? Can't see the other one because of the chassis, but that's, yeah, that's not good news. And they, you know, to buy those to fit into those cans now, the 30mm, they're quite expensive. The problem with this amp is it's not you know, they don't have a particularly high value when it comes to resale, and the repairs on this will quickly outstrip, you know, buying a new one. It'd be just cheaper to buy a new one. It's sad when you see old amplifiers like this, you know, when you look at them and they've really had the day. You know, you'd only restore this out of sentimental value, or, you know, because you enjoy doing it, it's a challenge, so forth. There's more, this capacitor's on. I mean, if we just lift this up now, and if we can just see if we can get these in shot, can't get a lot of light on them, but if you look at those capacitors, you can see the capacitor on the right there. Now that I've just edged, because these are on the preamp board, so if we just, you'll see the actually that one maybe, so you got that one there, but if we go across, look at the state of that one. That's had its day, and you perhaps can't see on camera because there's not enough light in there, but there's 2 or 3 more that are like that, so they need changing. And there's another one on the end here as well, you can just see him hiding there. So really, you know, you wouldn't be replacing those unless this thing was running, and it probably would be worth just replacing those if this were running. But there's a real fault on this. It's going to take a considerable time to find it. Even when we've found it, we would then have to sort all this board out because the soldering on it is just shocking. We'd have to clean some of that up. We'd have to change that big capacitor there because you can see that's clearly had it. And then we'd have to change 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 capacitors on this board. Would have to be changed. That's one of the cats coming down the roof, by the way, if you heard that. Going and walking across the roof. And of course, while he was at it, we've got another one of these on the other side, so you'd probably just change that as well. So by the time you'd be into that, you know, just in the parts. So sadly, I'm afraid this amp is a write-off, unless the customer wants to spend a lot of money on it. But that's how it goes sometimes, and you know, we don't resurrect everything that comes onto the bench, sadly. And it does sadden me to see some of these amps, you know, where they've come to the end of the life. As I say, it could be restored. The other thing is when it's restored, what is it? Well, it's a 40 watt solid state amp with 2 channels. You know, it's what you're going to use it for. You know, PAs are so advanced now, you wouldn't use this for a PA. It would just be no point. So I'm afraid we're going to have to call time on that one. So thanks for watching. Sorry that we couldn't get this one up and running, but as I say, we can't win them all. So you all take care, and I'll see you all in another video. Bye bye for now.